This might sound a bit dramatic, but I genuinely think this could be one of the biggest years gaming has had in a very long time. And honestly, I think it kind of needed it because if you've been playing games for the last few years, you've probably felt it too. Not that games are objectively bad, and not that there aren't still great releases, but something has just felt a bit off with gaming lately. A bit stale almost. Like the excitement just hasn't been there the same way it used to be. And that's coming from somebody who absolutely loves video games and has grown up playing them since I was a little kid. I talked about this before in a video called Why Games Don't Feel Fun Anymore. This is kind of a sequel to that video where I broke down why gaming just feels a little bit different nowadays as opposed to when you were a kid. But lately I've been wondering if maybe the problem isn't just us, but maybe gaming itself has just been stuck in a weird place. And if that's true, then this year might finally be the year things start changing. Because for the first time in what honestly feels like forever, people are genuinely excited about games again. Think about what's happening right now, okay? You've got GTA 6, which is probably, and this might be crazy saying this, but I don't think it's a very controversial opinion, probably might be the most anticipated game of all time. Not one of the most anticipated, the most anticipated. Like people have literally been waiting for like a decade for this thing. With all the memes saying, "Oh, this happened before GTA 6," and just all the little leaks and videos we've been seeing from the trailers and from everything about the game. Definitely the most anticipated game of all time, and a lot of people are going to be calling off work to play that game on release. And then you got other stuff like the new James Bond game coming out, a brand new take on one of the most iconic characters ever. You had Forza Horizon 6 just come out not too long ago, which I've seen so many amazing things about. This open world, hyper realistic environment where you can just drive around pretty much anywhere you want with these awesome cars. It looks really, really cool. And that awesome looking Lego Batman game. There's just so many things that have either come out already this year or are coming out that are absolute blockbusters and are just kind of for like every crowd, I feel like. And for the first time in a while, it just feels like every few weeks there's another game that has everyone talking. Not because it's controversial or because it's broken or because it launched with a battle pass and a $30 skin bundle or anything like that, but because people are actually excited to play it. And I honestly forgot what that felt like. For years, gaming discourse has basically been the same conversation over and over again. You know, people will say things like, this game launched unfinished, or this company got greedy, or this game shut down after 6 months, or this game costs $100. You know, it feels like every headline was negative, but now suddenly we're talking about actual games again, and that just feels so refreshing. But here's the thing. I don't think gaming became stale overnight. I think it kind of just happened slowly. So slowly that most of us didn't even really notice it. One reason is that gaming became obsessed with optimization. You know, every game wanted to maximize your engagement, retention, daily active users, battle pass progression, time spent in game, and somewhere along the way, maximizing fun stopped being the main objective. A lot of modern games just don't feel designed to actually entertain you. They just feel designed to keep you from leaving. You know, it's almost like the difference between a theme park and a casino. One wants you to have an amazing experience, the time of your life, one of those experiences that gets your friends wanting to come and have a great time as well. And the other one wants you to just stay as long as possible, spend as much money as possible. And once you notice that, it's just kind of hard to unsee. And now before somebody says that I'm just like nostalgic looking at the way things used to be, yeah, partially. Of course I am. Everything feels a lot more magical when you're 13 years old playing a game for the first time. You know, when you're a kid, every game feels like an adventure. You know, you don't care about frame rates or Metacritic scores or optimization guides. You just kind of play. But I also think there's another reason. When we were younger, games felt mysterious. You didn't know everything before release. You weren't watching 20 breakdown videos. You weren't seeing every boss fight on TikTok or having the game spoiled 6 months in advance. You just got the game and discovered things yourself. You know, today, by the time a game launches, you've already seen the map, the weapons, potentially the ending, you know, every meta build possible, and probably a 30-minute video explaining why the game is either a masterpiece or complete garbage. The mystery is just gone nowadays, and mystery was a huge part of what made gaming exciting. Another thing that's changed drastically is the way we consume games. You know, years ago, you just played the game, you know, but now sometimes it feels like we consume gaming content more than we actually play games. You know, we'll watch gameplay vids, streamers, clips, reviews, drama, leaks, reaction videos, and then somehow we'll never play the game ourselves. You know, gaming has become content, and content moves so fast that we're constantly chasing the next thing. Nowadays, a game launches, everybody talks about it for a few weeks, maybe a month, and then it's old news, and the cycle will just repeat itself. You know, nothing gets time to breathe anymore. I think that's extremely prevalent in like the indie game genre. You know, think about games that explode on YouTube and Twitch, for example. Will have their time in the limelight for like a month, few weeks, whatever, and then people move on to the next shiny thing. All right, let me throw some examples at you. Lethal Company, Phasmophobia, Content Warning, Schedule One. When's the last time you actually saw a lot of these games on YouTube or even played some of these games? I'll keep going. Only Up, you know, Buckshot Roulette, Pal World. Okay, a lot of these games are like super popular for a while. They get their time in the limelight, and then people move on to the next shiny thing. It's kind of what gaming has just become nowadays. But that all brings me back to why this year feels a little more special, because for the first time in a long time, it feels like we're getting games that people are actually excited about for the games themselves, not because they're generating some sort of controversy or because they're failing or because they're becoming memes or anything. People genuinely want to play them. And like I said earlier, GTA 6 has to be the best example for this. You know, whether you're excited for it or not, that game has something gaming has been missing for a while. Like some sort of sense of occasion. It like feels like an event. It almost feels like I've bought tickets to like a music festival that keeps on getting canceled over and over and over, but finally, it seems like that music festival is coming up, and I have that date circled on my calendar, and I just know when that day comes, I'm taking like a week off work to play the thing. It's one of those releases that just gets people talking months beforehand, and it just reminds you of why you fell in love with gaming in the first place. And the same goes for a lot of the other titles that I mentioned earlier that are coming out. There's a feeling of momentum building and a feeling that developers are finally giving players some sort of experience that they're genuinely excited about. And maybe this is the weird realization I've come to. Maybe gaming never completely lost its spark. Maybe it just got buried for a while, buried under stuff like microtransactions and battle passes and, you know, horrible corporate decision making and content overload. You know, it was buried under all that, but the great games never disappeared. They just became harder to notice. And now it feels like they're finally, potentially breaking through again. With all that being said, will this year magically fix gaming? Probably not. You know, there's still going to be bad launches and greedy companies and probably games that just outright disappoint us. You know, that'll never go away. But for the first time in years, it genuinely feels like gaming is giving people something to look forward to. And honestly, I think that's all it really needed, because when people stop getting excited about what's coming next, that's when a hobby starts to die. But right now, people are excited. People are talking. People are counting down the days. And if these games deliver, we might look back at this year as the moment gaming finally got some of its magic again. But what do you guys think? Do you think I'm maybe being a little hyperbolic in this? Do you think gaming kind of sucks these days? Do you think it could be getting better? Or do you feel like it's maybe just been good this whole time and I'm just an unk complaining? You guys let me know down below. And like I said, this was kind of a sequel to that game, why games don't feel fun anymore video. But I wanted to take another look and kind of hyper focus on all the games that are coming up this year. Because, like I said, it just feels a little different. I don't know. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think? Thank you so much for watching, guys. Been loving making these videos lately. And I love that we're getting a little bit of we're getting some comments here and there. I'm enjoying hearing you guys' thoughts on these videos. So let me know what you think. And peace.
We act like it's royal, like it's life or death now. Tearing up the script for a regular fool. I'm calling in a war when it's just a cold now.